afternoon, good morning, good evening, everybody. It is Saturday, June 14th, and you know what that means. It is time for the High Risk Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, trying to be King Jeremy Pierce. Welcome, one and all. Check out the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram, and of course the 215 on Twitter. And today's show, WWE's Pettiness. We're going to talk about their counter programming of AEW and really take a deep dive into it. But for now, you know what's next, so just go on and hit my music. All right. With this list, we got the 5 most anticipated upcoming shows. We start number 5, AEW Grand Slam Mexico. I like that Grand Slam has started to become a foreign event taking place in other countries, and this one is no different. Grand Slam Mexico is taking place in Mexico City, Mexico, in conjunction with AEW's longtime partner CMLL. Taking place, ready for this, at Arena Mexico. Is one of the first, it is actually the first televised event in the country for AEW in Mexico, and the first time Grand Slam will be held twice in one calendar year, because remember we had Grand Slam Australia back in February. They have pretty much sold out Arena Mexico, as it is a very, very large stadium, and AEW knows how to work with their Mexican fans and their Mexican audience. We have a nice solid card coming up for it. It's going to be such a fun event. And number 4, WWE's Saturday Night Main Event. Now, we're never really looking forward to these because they're nothing more than glorified house shows with a lot of promotion and a lot of commercials, and not a lot of wrestling. But this one is special because it will feature Goldberg's, well, we're speculating that it will feature Goldberg's retirement match as he takes on Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. And it might seem a little odd how we got here, but we'll actually talk about that a little bit later in the show. Number 3, WWE Evolution 2. The second all-women's pay-per-view is finally upon us, and the card will probably shape up really nice with the combination of TNA talent, WWE talent, and NXT talent. I cannot believe it's been almost 10 years since the last Evolution, and that's just not good, but I'm excited to see the women really get time to shine. The true question is, what will be the main event? Number 2, WWE Night of Champions. This is a really important show, not because it takes place in Blood Money, but because it is the finals of the King and Queen of the Ring tournament, and will also feature John Cena versus CM Punk for the WWE Championship. Those 3 matches alone are worth the price of admission. And number 1, AEW All In. What can I say? One of the biggest shows of the year, if not the biggest show of the year, will be going down, and AEW has pretty much figured out it is going to be taking place at the Texas Rangers Stadium, Globe Life Field, going down July 12th, and man, oh man, the card is shaping up very nice. We already got 3 championship matches, with one of them being a unification match. This was going to be such a fun show, and AEW knows how to go big and leave you wanting more. We'll be right back. People over there, what's up? If you see me, stand up and say what's up. The spotlight is back, and it's shining on none other than Ron the Truth Killings. This man has been brought back to the WWE for one last ride after his release, his contract not being renewed. There was an outcry, not just from the fans, not just from those outside of the WWE, but those within the WWE, saying, why would you do this? How could you do this to this man? So many went to bat for him, and I do not believe the WWE expected a revolt like this. So, with Ron Killings being back, who is funny but is no longer a joke, combining R-Truth and Evil R-Truth and Ron Killings from TNA, who's a 2-time world champion representing the NWA. This is a man who is going to give you the best. The promos are there. The story is there. Now the intensity is there and the action is there. And we are truly going to see what happens when you are given that shot. Ron Killings has been a stalwart in this industry, and now for one last ride, he gets to show what's up. The wrestling industry is a very funny thing. For a long time, up until 6-7 years ago, the WWE was the only game in town. After eliminating WCW and ECW and TNA failing due to their own hand, it was just the WWE. So what we got was a stale, occasionally exciting product. Then TNA started to get their things together, but along came the new kid in town, the new kid on the block. AEW, All Elite Wrestling, founded by billionaire Tony Khan, who is a wrestling fan. You can see this. The Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, and Cody Rhodes. And with this new company, right, which featured some of the top independent talent now under one roof, and former WWE talent under one roof, the WWE had no choice but to be better. Now, it was always going to be hard because of Vince McMahon. Everything starts and stops with him, and he does things for his own vices, with his own mind and enjoyment, right? So AEW comes along and they're hot right out of the gate, and they're still here. Not perfect, no company is, but because of AEW being here, it forced the WWE to be better. Fans, we've already talked about the tribalism, wanted one thing. The good fans wanted one thing. They wanted the WWE to be better. And when you finally have competition, you are forced to be better. So, when the WWE were faced with a challenge, they rose to the occasion because we got to see them be better. But now they've become petty. We've seen what happens with counterprogramming, and that's what we're talking about today. So, where did it start? Well, first we can go all the way back to the Monday Night Wars. We don't need to rehash any of it. The WWE, at that time WWF, and WCW were going head to head on Monday nights. Counter programming. TNA tried to do it when they had Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff involved, moving Impact from Thursday nights to Monday nights. They ultimately failed. And then along came this little t-shirt company in AEW. So their flagship show, Dynamite, debuts Wednesday nights. Wednesday nights. It's the perfect time slot. There's nothing on. And for the longest time, right, NXT was airing directly online on the network, right? And then we got our reboot. And when AEW debuted, WWE decided, you know what, we will have NXT go up against AEW. You know what, that was a faulty decision, but I can see why they did it. This new up-and-coming company against our established development brand, the Black and Gold, doing everything they can to snuff out the competition. And this started the Wednesday Night Wars. Okay? And with AEW coming on TNT, going opposite NXT on USA Network, it was all about the ratings. This was the real true first direct competition since TNA tried going up against WWE on Monday nights. So we have the Wednesday Night Wars, and how is it ultimately playing out? The debut of Dynamite was great, averaging 1.5 million viewers and then bottoming out right around 900,000 viewers. And the WWE started calling NXT their third brand. Dude, they were never the third brand. They were your developmental territory. And they had, Shayna Baszler and Becky Lynch and a whole bunch of stars on their show. But what ultimately snuffed everything out was the pandemic. NXT and Dynamite had to broadcast in empty arenas, and Dynamite did something very, very special, very, very different. Because both shows were filmed in Florida, there was a little bit of lax in who can be where. And what AEW did was have their wrestlers and certain fans in the audience with their mask. And it worked. They were putting on the better show. And NXT just couldn't compete. They were losing week in and week out in the ratings. Ultimately, that forced NXT to move to Tuesday nights in 2021, and it ended the Wednesday Night Wars. That was it. It was over. So their first shot at trying to counter program AEW ultimately failed. Then they took another shot on October 10th, October 15th. WWE had to air their last 30. They had to air part of their show on Fox Sports 1. This is when SmackDown was coming on Fox. Rampage had already debuted at that time. So now they're trying to counter program AEW again. So what do? WWE announced supersized SmackDown, right? And the show featured King of the Ring semifinal match, a handicap match with Shayna and Sonya versus Naomi, a Queen's Crown semifinal match, SmackDown Tag Team Title Street Fight. I believe Brock and Roman started the 10 o'clock hour, and the main event was Becky and Sasha for the SmackDown Women's Championship. It was a number one contenders match. All great, all good. But what did AEW do? Well, when it was announced that SmackDown will go opposite the first 30 minutes of Rampage, AEW said, we'll just have a buy-in on YouTube. And for those that are uninitiated, the buy-in is a term AEW uses for their pre-show. They either call it the buy-in or they call it 0 hour. So what did they feature on their buy-in. We got Ty Conti versus Santana Garrett. We got Bobby Fish versus Lee Moriarty. Okay, those are two fine matches. But what they gave us on free TV leading into Rampage was Bryan Danielson versus Minoru Suzuki. Two of the all-time GOATs. That's what they gave us. And ultimately, it was the better show. And then we had the Rampage show that had CM Punk versus Matt Sydal, Ruby Silver versus The Bunny, and the most random six-man tag match when we were doing the whole Team Top Flight, whatever, versus the Inner Circle. But ultimately, AEW won that. So here we are once again with the pettiness coming out. Now, is it the WWE being petty, or is it WWE finally acknowledging that AEW is competition? Because they already acknowledged it in the pocketbooks when we heard about them being upset that Swerve, someone who they had and let go, receiving a top tier contract. So, what are our most recent examples? This past month, AEW gave us Double or Nothing. That same weekend, the WWE counter-programmed them. First, they gave us NXT Battleground. And NXT has been, honestly, on a roll. They've been truly, truly killing it. And we don't have the takeovers anymore, but they do give us a proper pay-per-view show. So on Battleground, right, solid card. We had Sol Roca retain the NXT North America Women's Championship. We had a 6-man tag team match. We had the continuation of the D'Angelo family. We had Stephanie Vaquero and Jordan Grace in a fantastic Women's Championship match. We had Obafemi defend the NXT Championship against Miles Bourne, and we had Trick Williams make history and defeat Joe Hendry to win the TNA Championship. So we have that show, and at the same time, the WWE gave us Saturday night's main event, right? And we have all acknowledged that Saturday night's main events are nothing more than glorified house shows. But this one was really bad. They gave us a fantastic, fun opening tag team match with Braun and Seth versus Punk and Sammy. They gave us the Women's United States Championship match. That match got 5 minutes. They gave us Cena and Truth. They gave us Priest and Drew McIntyre in a steel cage. And then they gave us Jey Uso versus Logan Paul for the World Heavyweight Championship. So, what made this bad was because the WWE had already given us the same amount of matches that they usually give us on a premium live event. Not only did we get the same amount of matches, we got less wrestling time. So in those 5 matches, right, the total in-ring bell-to-bell action was, let me do some quick math, 45 minutes. 45 minutes on a 2-hour show. That's how much wrestling we got. And the show was atrocious. It was worse than previous Saturday night's main event because there were so many breaks, and so many commercials. What were they thinking? Break after break after break. Whereas AEW gave us Double or Nothing. Now, Double or Nothing is one of their bigger shows, AEW. It's one of their big events. So, what did they give us at Double or Nothing? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 matches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 matches. We got the finals of the Women's Owen Hart Cup. We got a fun tag team match with FTR taking on Danny Garcia and Nigel McGuinness. Ricochet and Mark Briscoe in a stretcher match. We got the World Tag Team titles. We got the Continental Championship match between Okada and Mike Bailey. We got the Women's title match between Toni Storm and Mina Shirakawa. We got Anarchy in the arena. We got a fun 6-man tag match, which was really good, but got hampered down because it was in between the Anarchy in the arena match, but also the Men's Owen Hart Cup final match between Adam Page and Will Ospreay. And this show was absolutely fantastic. There was nothing that WWE could do. You thought giving us NXT and Saturday Night's main event was going to beat Double or Nothing. And you know what the worst part is? If you look at that Saturday Night's main event card, it's a really good card. It's like a really good card, and it just needed more wrestling on it. And yet, the WWE didn't think to give us that. And now their new partner, TNA, where do they come in? Well, TNA already put shows on Friday nights, and that's a good way to keep eyes on the product. Why you say that? Because this past Wednesday, right, AEW aired Against All Odds, their last pay-per-view event, which was only a week old. But you're saying, well, why is this strange? Well, AEW was airing their summer blockbuster event, special 4-hour show. It's fantastic. So it's no coincidence that Against All Odds is airing for free on YouTube against AEW. Now, mind you, wrestlers, they're one giant family. We go and point to the return of Ron Killings. So WWE's new partner, new friend, just happens to air their last pay-per-view event to go up against AEW. And then comes the next strike. WWE has a very big weekend coming up in Atlanta. They have NXT bringing you the Great American Bash, which has been one of their marquee shows. And mind you, Great American Bash has often been a 2-week TV special, but now it's airing on the weekend. And then they given us Evolution 2, the all women's pay-per-view. And for years and years and years and years, almost 10 years ago, we were waiting for the WWE to bring us the second Evolution. And now it's just randomly airing. It just decided to come up. And you're saying, like, well, why is this important? Why do you what do you mean? Well, it's airing at 6:30 p.m. And you're saying, well, why is it airing at 6:30? All In is taking place in Texas, and it's airing at a special start time at 3 o'clock. So NXT is airing during All In, and then they're going to use Evolution to come on during that part. And then what we got going down later in the evening, right, is Saturday night's main event, featuring the speculated Goldberg Gunther match. Why? And we're here because you had Jey Uso lose the championship to prop up Goldberg versus Gunther, and Goldberg versus Gunther didn't need to feature the championship. It just didn't. This goes back to when Vince McMahon had Brock Lesnar squash Kofi just to prop up his match versus Cain Velasquez at Blood Money. They just did the same thing to Jey Uso. Even though Jey Uso went out as a fighting champion, we are here once again. So, what's the fan response? Pretty much calling it WWE. It's petty. Counter programming does nothing. If fans want to watch AEW, they're going to watch AEW. Fans want to watch NXT, they're going to watch NXT. Fans want to watch Evolution and Saturday Night's Main Event, whatever they want, they'll do it. See, ultimately, this is a good thing for AEW, because now you're asking yourself, well, why does the WWE do this? Because they're scared and they know they have a challenge on their hands. We even believe that there's a chance WWE could try to counter program AEW again, because later this year, because AEW has a residency at the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia, the legendary former ECW arena. And it's not a good look for the WWE to just be this petty. AEW is going to give you a fine product every single time they have a big event. And now, after fans have been begging and pleading for another Evolution event, you just randomly decide to have it go up against AEW. You're trying to eliminate AEW with counter programming, and it's not going to work. Lean into your strengths and just be honest. And listen, will it stop? No. I don't think it will. I think the WWE are going to do everything in their power to try to eliminate AEW, and I'll give you a small reason. Because of who owns the WWE, TKO. Because of TKO's business practices with UFC and how they pay their fighters, we know that they don't want to pay the wrestlers top dollar. But as long as there's competition like AEW, well, you gotta spend the money. But that is a different discussion for a different day. The WWE's pettiness and their counter programming won't stop. And you know what AEW is just going to do? Chug along, putting on their show, giving you top competition, a top quality product. Now it's up to WWE to decide how do they truly want to be remembered in this aspect. Because counter programming does nothing. Fans are going to pick and choose what they want to watch. And WWE is already going out of their way to try to snatch up, well, AEW competitors, partner competitors. They already bought AAA, which is a competition with CMLL, and CMLL is a top Mexican promotion. I wouldn't be surprised if you found out WWE is partnering with Marigold. I wouldn't be surprised if they go out and try to get a British promotion to compete against Rev Pro, and a Japanese promotion, maybe All Japan, to compete against New Japan, and maybe one more independent promotion to compete against Ring of Honor. So we'll see. We'll see what goes down, because I assure you, WWE is going to try to counter program them again. And if you look further at what AEW has coming up later this year, I guarantee you there's going to be another counter program. Just wait. Whether it's against Forbidden Door or Dynasty or All Out, WWE is going to make another move. But that is our show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Look on the screen what we got coming up. It's going to be a good time. Check out the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram, and of course the 215 on Twitter. And as always, Bailey, Isla Dawn, Priscilla Kelly, Chris Statlander, Willow Nightingale, and Anna J. Holla at your boy. Peace.